When the facts get twisted, and the lies stacked tall, and the lies stacked tall, my red heart starts answering the call. Question everything. Don't swallow the lies they tell. 'Cause sometimes logic drags this nation straight to hell. Conspiracy analysts digging for the truth, They try to hide. We the people stand with all hands on hearts, and this is my home. This is my heritage, my sacred ground. My country's not for sale, and we'll never back down.
What is up, folks? Good morning to you. Finally, I'm back. I know some of y'all were probably wondering if I was still alive. I apologize. I normally do a weekend show, but this past weekend was crazy. So I'm gonna try to make it up to y'all guys. We're gonna for sure at least do one day this weekend. If I can swing it, we might do both. But anyway, I apologize. And for any of you that had your hopes up, your heart really set on the original subject, I apologize. I did a last minute switcheroo. I don't know if I don't know how many noticed, but yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, your boy included, but mainly all the bigger ones. You know, they got a hell of a hit piece put out on them, and so we're gonna go through that. I know a couple of people have already talked about it, and I've seen several other shows scheduled on it. So I figured if I was going to put in my 2 cents worth, I better go ahead and do it before it's just beating a dead horse, if you know what I mean. So we'll do that today, and then y'all remember, y'all want to be here for that. I can promise you, Muppet Master will be on with me tomorrow morning, and he's amazing. The dude is hell of a investigator. You've got actually there's a whole group of them that kind of work together there that he's a part of, and we might see if we can't get them all on at some point, or at least others. But just amazing stuff that he has dug up, and you've heard from him a lot, even if you didn't realize that you were, because I know a lot of y'all favorite podcasters has used material from him. Matter of fact, case in point, Baron on our subject matter material for I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow, but for Thursday morning I was going to cover Baron and the whole security detail situation. That again was Muppet Master. So yeah, he has definitely contributed to a lot of the really big bombshells that have been dropped in this investigation. And so yeah, he's really something else. Y'all will not want to miss that, I can promise you. So anyway, let's see who we got hanging out this morning. We'll see how many was sitting here waiting on me, and then we'll get her going. All right, so let's see. We got Reginator in the house. Looks like she was in there first. Good morning, Reginator. Thank you for being here. Yeah, before you head to work, I know that sucks. We'll try our best. If by some miracle you can drop back in later, go ahead. And yes, I agree, guys. Don't forget to support our favorite real one by hitting the button, subscribing, and sharing this stream. Absolutely. Just imagine that thumbs up as being Ben Shapiro's eyebrows, and that's all you got to do. Just close your eyes and whale it. Good morning, Keza. How's it going? How are you doing? Always a pleasure. Cryptic in the house. What's up, Cryptic? Good to see you. Golden Cat. Good to see you. Good to see you. So Golden Cat, no, he's not on this time, and neither are the other ones. I guess I didn't think about that. I guess it is a bit confusing. But we're definitely going to be talking about John Bray because if you have not seen this hit piece, she basically it's a hit piece on all of us, but she calls out some specifically. And the ones that she calls out specifically, among others, are Baron Coleman, Candace Owens, and John Bray. They got the brunt of it. So, but anyway, no, it's just going to be addressing John. I'm sorry. I hope that didn't come across as false advertising. I didn't really think about that. But anyway, all right. So Miss Debbie Smith, what's up, Miss Debbie? Good to see you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see who else we got. She's one of our, Miss Debbie's one of our awesome moderators. Gary, what's up, Gary? Good to see you here. Question. What's up, buddy? What's up? Let's see. He is the contributor to the intro and outro music, and it is amazing. Everybody loves it. We got Girly. What's up, Girly? Good to see you. Always good to see you here. We got Zuzu. What's up, Zuzu? Always a pleasure. Kelly, what's up, Kelly? Good to see you. Let's see. We got Random in here. Random member. What's up, Random member? Always a pleasure seeing you. Aussie. That's right, Keza. All right, let's see who else we got. Let's see. Oh, Kay Kirkland. What's up, Kay Kirkland? Good to see you. And let's see. Bot Traveler, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much for the two jewels. Very, very generous. Republic, we got Republic Tea Room in the house. What's up, Republic? Good to see you. Aunt B, what's up, Aunt B? Awesome seeing you here. All right, let's see. All right, I think we made it to the bottom. We'll try to catch the others as they come in. But like I say every time, I always like to at least acknowledge the ones that have been sitting here waiting on me. So anyway, all right, that being said, without further ado, we are going to, and so this lady, you know, she's from MS Now. I like to call it MS Cow, or, you know, at least in her case, allegedly. And it's all in fun. It's just a joke, you know, so don't sue me. But when I hear that MS Now, I think of Mrs. Cow. I don't know why. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's the way my adolescent brain works from time to time. So anyway, let me get it pulled up here and we'll get going. There's some crazy stuff here. Like I said, they don't call me out particular, but it's about everybody. It's a hit piece on everybody, but she does call out you know, Barry and Candace, John Bray, and some others. And, yeah, it really pisses me off. So without further ado, let's see what we got.
The Zapruder film, 26 seconds, 486 frames, silent and in color. A home movie taken by a dressmaker named Abraham Zapruder on November 22nd, 1963. It captured the assassination of a president. This film wasn't shown on television until 12 years after its recording.
For 2 years, he, like most Americans, believed in the official version.
12 days after Charlie's, you know, after September the 10th, 12 days after that, we were all up to our necks in it, just about it. I would say within 12 hours, there were people digging into it. So, yeah, this is a different day and age. They can't do us like they used to.
In the Warren Commission version of what happened, but the day he first saw that 8mm Zapruder film, that amateur film that was made, that was the day he stopped believing.
It triggered our most popular and enduring political conspiracy theory, that Kennedy wasn't killed by a lone gunman, but by a cast of conspirators, foreign and domestic, hiding behind a patsy. Fast forward more than 50 years to another assassination.
Guys, I'm sorry. I apologize. Give me a second. I'm not sharing this right. I need it full screen. Give me 1 second here. I'm sorry. Apologize. Hold, please. Hey, I'm a professional sometimes. Okay, let's see here. Let's try that. Oh, yeah, that's better. All right, guys, fire in the hole.
This time of a Republican activist who dominated new media, arguably swayed elections, and wielded huge influence over Trump's cabinet picks. A 31-year-old who many on the right hoped would someday be president. This assassination was captured by scores of cameras from as many different angles and broadcast immediately to millions on smartphones. The Zapruder film, a grainy home video, had the power to make many Americans believe their government had orchestrated the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The videos of the killing of Charlie Kirk, live and at the speed of social media, could have even more power to splinter a political movement and maybe shatter what's left of a shared reality.
I don't know if y'all could see it, but to me, just when you look at her eyes and look at her face real close like that, you see almost glee at the thought of the right being splintered and being split over something, you know? Like, finally.
Whatever you think of Charlie Kirk, campus crusader, MAGA kingmaker, hate monger, he was one of a kind. A teenager who talked his way into the conservative movement, and by 31 was a major voice in picking President Trump's second running mate and current vice president.
J.D. Vance is the best for a lot of different reasons.
He was a media giant with millions of followers and billions of views.
This video that you're about to see, 1 billion people saw. Who knows what it means for the election and for the civilization?
I'm Brandy Zadrozny, a senior reporter at MS Now, and I've been covering the MAGA movement for over a decade. I've watched how politicians and operators on the right,
all positively, of course. You know that it's all been positive coverage.
embraced conspiracy theories. In that time, I saw what was once fringe become normal. Conspiracy theories became constant. Presidential elections, QAnon, a pandemic, and I watched as Charlie Kirk pushed those conspiracy theories into the mainstream right.
Allegedly, Haitians are going around and taking people's pets and eating them.
After his death, a machine powered up, one that runs on distrust, one that Kirk helped build, and it did exactly what it was designed to do. It rejected the official story.
The question is, was
So, you know, they can't even leave the dead man alone. They've got to bring him into it, you know. Oh, this conspiracy world environment, you know, that we now live in. Kirk helped create that. So basically it seems to me like what she's saying is, you know, it's kind of ironic, you know, and hey, that it's some type of irony that he helped build this, and now in so doing is splitting the movement that he worked so hard to build, and it's you know, in response to the investigation of his death. So it's pretty shitty, actually.
he the shooter? It seems like we're being spoon-fed a narrative.
I now believe there is a federal level of corruption and conspiracy involved in this murder, okay?
Now, a cottage industry of conspiracists say Kirk's accused killer is a
We're conspiracists now. What is a conspiracist? What's the difference between that and a conspirator? Because there's lots of conspirators out there, and you know, yeah, what is the difference between a conspiracy and a fact? You know, it's basically just a matter of weeks or months.
patsy, suggest his widow Erica is in on a cover-up, and that our own government, or a foreign one, ordered the hit. This far-out content has incredibly convinced millions, unleashing waves of harassment against those who were closest to Kirk.
This far-out content. Okay. So we're not addressing any of the reasons for this content, for the distrust, and why this doesn't line up. This is just saying that anybody that ascribes to this is out there.
Apart one of MAGA's most powerful alliances between politicians and conservative influencers.
We should not say things like, they shot Charlie.
Candace knows I disagree with her on this.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
It's also building a captive and paranoid.
Yeah, and that's another point that she brings up later, and lots of people have brought up, is when it started out, Candace said if she said stop, she would stop, and look at her, she's still going. Well, at that point when she did that, it was too late. This is after they had their meeting, and I agree 110% with her. You know, Candace had the meeting, she lied to her, verifiably, like, no doubt, lied to her. And, you know, when you do that, I totally understand. Then all bets are off the table, and, you know, it is what it is. If she'd been honest with her, I'd say that she probably would have stopped, like she said. What's up, Heather P? Good to see you, Heather P. Captain, what's up, Captain?
Audience on top of his grave.
Where are Charlie's homies at? Why are you guys all silent? Something's not right. We don't know, but we know. And soon, we're gonna know now.
This is a story about what happens when a political movement built on conspiracy theories becomes the target of one, when what they've built comes for them. I've spent months following the story. It's taken me to the university in Utah where Kirk was shot, to the Turning Point stages where his widow is fighting to keep hold of his...
That's right, random member. And I don't think that there's, I don't think we've heard the last on that phone call. We shall see. But yeah, exactly. And, oops, yes, it was Mr. Farnsworth is the one that said they shot Charlie. They shot Charlie. But remember, anytime you say the word they, you are referring to a particular group, not just now a group of people, but one group in particular, one specific group of people. If you ever use the word, I remember a time when you would say like those people or they, and you would get hammered for being a racist because everybody thought you were talking about a black person. Well, we've moved on from that, and now when you say they or those people, now you're referring to the Jews, you know, so yeah.
Legacy into the Provo courtroom where prosecutors are building the case against his alleged killer, Tyler Robinson, and into the unhinged online universe where creators are dismantling that case and selling another story, just asking the question,
who actually murdered Charlie Kirk?
And who shot Charlie Kirk?
Who killed Charlie Kirk? You know we're getting close.
I first met Candace Owens in 2018. Okay, so first, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know that this was
like... Sorry, on a Twitter battle.
I'd come to Stanford University to see her speak with Charlie Kirk. Kirk was just 24 years old then. He'd worked social media on Trump's 2016 campaign and was back to building Turning Point USA, the group he'd started 4 years earlier to fight the left on college campuses and to recruit young Republicans.
If you're asking me, do I think the black community has been crippled economically, the answer would be yes, it has been crippled economically by Democrat policies.
Kirk was crisscrossing the country, owning the libs, and building a digital enterprise on the back of its college debate tapes.
What have I ever said that's racist? Name one thing.
We've enabled people to
Name one.
about racism, and by enabling people and giving them a platform.
Like who? Like Candace Owens?
Exactly.
Oh,
What's up, Russian? Yeah, that's right. You got to be a good guy.
Candace Owens is a racist.
Kirk had just hired Candace, technically as Turning Point's director of urban engagement, then promoted to communications manager, but really she was a sidekick, and everything Charlie wasn't. A woman, black, and to Charlie and his roster of old white donors, comparatively cool.
Met Candace back in November, hired her 5 minutes after I met her, and as they say, the rest is the future.
Before we go any further, I should note that Candace declined.
You know, no offense to anybody in the chat or anybody that's listening now or listening in the future that might have somewhat left of center political views, and maybe whatever. You may be a full-on Democrat. I don't know. Don't care. Love everybody. And one thing about this is it has brought a lot of different people together. But you heard what she said. This was a dig at the right from start to finish. Not only just the conspiracy theorist, but just the right in general. You heard what she said. Old white donors. You know, Candace is, you know, like a hall pass for Charlie or what have you. You know, she allowed him to get places that he ordinarily wouldn't be able to get. So, you know, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but the mainstream left, or at least mainstream media /left, they always bring up this whole race thing. And they talk about the old white dudes and, you know, anyway, I thought it was really interesting. She just kind of slid that in there, you know, a little bit. And I wanted to make sure everybody heard that.
To be interviewed for this video. When I asked, she sent a statement through her rep. She called me slimy and said it made her skin crawl that I would reach out in the wake of Charlie's assassination.
Yeah.
And for the record, this is a weird thing to say, since this was the text Candace sent after that story published, and inconsistent with how Kirk spoke publicly about me.
And we've dealt with Brandon Zadrozny before in some stories. She's very smart, a relatively fair person, but she still has that, you know, pepper in her insults.
But Candace runs on vibes, and for an audience with a very short memory and attention span, it seems to be working out.
Happy 6 million subscribers.
We're all dumb, guys, and we've got short attention spans. Yep, that's why we've been hammering this Charlie Kirk thing since day one. Almost a year now, we have been up to this to our earlobes, but yet we got short attention spans and we're just dumb.
We did it. I'm so proud.
Now, how she became the fastest growing right-wing podcaster in America, it's a story worth telling, because Candace's rise and ultimate crash through conservative media helps make sense of why she'd go on to do what she did to Charlie Kirk and the movement he helped build. Candace grew up in Stamford, Connecticut, with her parents and grandparents. In high school, she was the victim of some pretty terrible racist bullying. It was big state news. The NAACP took up her case, and her parents sued, eventually settling with the school. In 2016, as Trump stampeded toward the White House, Candace was living in New York City, working with a few other young women in a small marketing startup, when she had an idea. It was rooted, she said, in her experience being bullied in high school. She called the project Social Autopsy. It would be a website, but really a searchable database of people's online accounts and posts.
With the ability to privatize social profiles and use pseudonyms in place of real names, it has been a free-for-all. That is, until now.
Candace said Social Autopsy would rid the internet of cyberbullies and trolls.
Social Autopsy is your digital footprint, so be mindful of the words that you share.
But Social Autopsy ran straight into another corner of the internet,
Good
Gamergate,
morning.
maybe the most consequential battle in the internet culture wars.
Gamergate. It's a story about sexism in the world of video gaming with all the elements of a Hollywood script.
Players were invited to click on the screen, and when you did that, an image of me became increasingly battered and bruised.
As a result, now she says she and her husband had to flee their home this weekend because of threats made against her on Twitter.
Candace's problem wasn't with the mob of mostly far-right men leading the organized campaign of harassment, doxing, and threats against women in the video gaming community. It was with its victims, who feared that Social Autopsy was a doxing machine that internet trolls were going to use to victimize more people. They called Candace out, she dug in, and she found support from the men pushing Gamergate and others on the far right. Her company lost its financial lifeline when Kickstarter suspended the project. Owens blamed a conspiracy from the left, from the victims of Gamergate. And so, she left behind her career as a tech founder and
Kelly, that is true. The loon needs to dig into libtard conspiracies like the Anthony Weiner laptop. Yep. Two things about that. For one, mainstream news seems to be very comfy and cozy with some of these people. And they've been covering that up for a long time. And also, they like the fighting. They love the infighting. And for whatever reason, it doesn't appear that the Anthony Weiner laptop and other associated things doesn't seem like really splintered that political side of the aisle much. For whatever reason, I'm not guessing. I'm just saying the reason why they all jumped on this is because of the split. They are trying to get in there and just put that wedge in there and spread it even further.
reinvented herself as a hard right influencer.
I became a conservative overnight. I realized that liberals were actually the racists, that liberals were actually the trolls.
So Candace starts a YouTube channel called Red Pill Black, a reference to her race and the Matrix speak for discovering some secret truth. In these new videos, Candace sported a bold lip and a sarcastic tone, and no take was too conservative or contrarian.
Oh my God, Charlottesville. White supremacy is alive and well. Run. Stop.
Charlie Kirk noticed, and 4 months after she started with her new conservative identity, Turning Point USA scooped her up. At the Illinois event where her hiring was announced, Owens said, quote, "By the end of 2018, I'm going to be one of the most well-known people in this country because I'm going to lead the Black revolution for the conservative movement." She would turn out to be half right. Candace started making videos for Turning Point, where she's anti-DEI, anti-feminism, anti-BLM, anti-Me Too, you get it.
Colin Kaepernick, you are a coward. America, despite what CNN may tell you, is not a racist country. Does this look like a symbol of hate? Am I offending you? Is this offensive?
By 2018, she was one of the most well-known people on the right. But her reputation wasn't stellar. Candace sort of burned through the conservative movement at a pretty impressive clip. In the interest of time, I'm gonna speed through this part. April 2018, Kanye...
In the interest of time, I'm going to speed through this part, or in the interest of time, I'm going to leave out some really important details. I'm going to leave out some really groundbreaking milestones. We're going to leave out some really important shit here in the interest of time.
Kanye West tweets, quote, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks." From there, Owens is hanging out with Trump, traveling everywhere with Charlie.
Antifa just showed up to protest us eating breakfast because they're fucking losers.
Candace was also getting into trouble, into what would become a pattern of being charitable, we'll call them gaffes. The worst one came in December 2018 at a Turning Point UK event.
When you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. He was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not nationalism.
Describing this years later, Candace would say that...
At least she played the whole clip. Most people stop it right there before she talks about him having aspirations, in other places around the world. Most people stop it there. Oh, she said Hitler was a good guy. No, that's not what she said at all. So I have to give her some kudos. This is probably all she's Sorry about that. This is probably all she's getting today, but at least she did play the whole clip.
Backlash to those Hitler comments literally made her sick, got her blacklisted at Fox News, and almost cost her everything.
I quite literally was facing a threat that everything was going to be over because how dare I say that? I have absolutely no right to say that.
Turning Point campus chapters called for her to resign, and by 2019, she was out. But not done. In 2019, she's picked up by PragerU, an ultra-conservative nonprofit that makes short-form videos. Candace hosts a podcast.
And again, she makes it seem like the reason she was out was because of that particular statement, and we all know that is not the case. Candace has talked about this ad nauseum.
And narrates right-wing revisionist history shorts.
And now for a brief history of slavery.
After a year, she signs up with the Daily Wire, a company
Shauna, no, I can answer that for you. Miss Debbie was talking about the woman on the screen as who she was calling an idiot. I can promise you. Yeah, nobody's name calling in the chat, I can guarantee you.
Helmed by Ben Shapiro that defined and dominated conservative media.
I'm here. I'm a conservative. I'm not apologizing.
And at Daily Wire, she could see where her audience was going. More extreme, more seduced by conspiracy theories. On September 1st, 2023, on her own Daily Wire show, she told them this.
When this almost feels fraudulent, right? Oh, if I don't like the person, I'm going to just smear them. I'm going to just say that they are a Soros puppet. And then a bunch of people will believe it because a bunch of people on the internet have had their minds bent and they can't process reality.
But she kept feeding them conspiracy theories, and the Daily Wire seemed fine with that. It's easy to understand why, right? Candace up to now had generally followed the unwritten rule of the right.
Thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican.
But in 2023, something happened to make Owens and many others break ranks, and to make some, including Owens, lean into a specific genre of conspiracy theory, the oldest one, that would be a red line for the Daily Wire.
The breaking news out of Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared that Israel is in a state of war after what's being called the worst attack on the country in 50 years.
On October 7th, 2023, Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups carried out an attack on civilians in Israel and on military bases near the Gaza border. In all, more than 1,200 people, mostly civilians, were killed. Israel responded with bombs in Gaza.
That 1,200, mostly civilians, is a little contested, especially when you consider the fact that everybody has to serve. So, you know, I get what they're trying to say. I don't know, but I have heard some, back and forth on the actual amount of true civilians.
And declared a complete...
It was bad no matter what. It was bad.
Siege, cutting off food, fuel, and electricity. Pundits and people ran to ideological corners. The loudest voices seemed either all for Israel or all against it. Nuance, as it often goes on the internet, was really hard to come by. And incredibly, Candace's initial response was measured.
I find that when I can't get behind people that think it's fine because a Jewish person is dead, and because I can't get behind an individual that think it's acceptable to basically come within an inch of calling for a genocide of Muslims, it's best to remain silent, right?
Candace didn't stay silent for long. In November, she said Israel was committing a genocide. Daily Wire boss and founder Ben Shapiro, who's an observant Jew.
I'm not for sure what she's referring to, but now I'm guessing she's probably referring to the now infamous tweet where she said genocide is always wrong. She did not say that anybody was committing genocide. She just made the comment, blanket statement, generic. Now look, it's open to interpretation when you say things like that. But she said genocide is always wrong. And I really believe that's what she's referring to here, which is very, very dishonest. And yeah.
And a big supporter of Israel, called her disgraceful. They fought in public. He told her to quit. She called him.
And the other reason I believe that is what she's referring to is because of the fact that she is talking about that feud between them. And that is exactly what started that feud, was her tweet that said genocide is always wrong. Sound like a guilty conscience to me when somebody pops up and just thinks you're talking about them,
Unhinged. And while this workplace fight was playing out publicly, Candace's program, which was ostensibly supposed to be focused on culture, was dedicating more and more time to the war in Gaza, but also just blatant anti-Semitism, talking about sinister gangs of Jews in Hollywood and what she called DC Jews, chasing political power and trying to silence her. And in March 2024, she was out. Or as Candace put it, she was free. She started out again on her own, but what would become clear and fast is that Candace hadn't so much been flung out of MAGA media as she'd outgrown it, and she was no longer content to peddle existing conspiracy theories aimed only at the left. She would create them and deploy them at her new enemies on the right. September 10th, 2025, Utah Valley University. It's the first stop on Turning Point USA's fall campus tour. The setup is familiar.
Yeah, very important point. First stop. I went into this, in ad nauseum in one of my videos. Actually, I've talked about it several times, but I don't feel like that's a coincidence that it was the first stop. We do know that the day before this stop, and this is all within a few hours, he had told the group chat that they were living up to all the stereotypes, that he would not be bullied, and that he was going to leave the pro-Israel cause. And so, and then within a few hours, he was on another call with somebody from over there, and I think Josh Hammer, if I'm not mistaken, but he had this other call. And then by the end of the day, he had texted, I believe, Andrew Colvett and Dan Flood, allegedly. I can't remember for sure, but it seems like that's who it was, saying, I think they're going to kill me. So it's a pretty interesting timeline. And then the first stop is the next day, and he never makes it past that. Seems to me like he was given an ultimatum. Seems to me like he was given a one last chance. Allegedly, I don't know that. Just my opinion.
Charlie Kirk sitting under a white tent.
They had to stop him before he got out there and really cause some damage. If they were going to do it, they needed to do it before he started his tour.
A long line of people before him waiting to ask their question. Thousands of young people and fans from the area are watching from this kind of fishbowl courtyard. A graduate student and liberal TikToker named Hunter Kozak has the mic.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Utah law enforcement officials had announced they had a suspect in custody.
We got him.
Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, from St. George, Utah. Robinson's arrest might have
Is that who that was in that picture?
united a MAGA movement that had been tearing itself apart over the Epstein files and the war in Gaza. It might have provided a common enemy, a focus on the lefty posters who were joking about Kirk's death, or the trans community, or Antifa, that the Trump administration had blamed for Kirk's murder.
We are going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks.
It might have, if not for Candace Owens.
They would be going down the center part of town somewhere.
This is Lewis Witt, a Dallas insurance salesman. But for 15 years after the Kennedy assassination, Witt was just known as Umbrella Man. It was one of dozens of details from the scene that journalists and the public poured over from that day. Details that, when zoomed in on and questioned, seemed strange. A man standing, watching Kennedy's motorcade, right about the spot where Kennedy is shot. He's holding a black umbrella, but there's no rain. Skeptics leapt on the Umbrella Man. Some theorized that he'd opened his umbrella to signal a gunman. Others got more creative. One JFK truther, who went on to publish a newsletter called the Grassy Knoll Gazette, imagined that the umbrella had hidden a kind of weapon, a dart launcher, that shot Kennedy so a CIA gunman could finish the job. Witt came forward in 1978, after his identity was revealed by a Dallas newspaper.
Why were you carrying an umbrella that day?
Hey, Sean is right. Everybody hit that like button. If you haven't done it, go ahead and do it. I don't know why YouTube's not working with me this morning. Normally we'd have 100 people in here by now. So obviously YouTube is not doing me no favors. So if you ain't hit that like button, go ahead and do that, because that is what tells them whether to push it out or not. And yeah, so Keza, I would have bet money on the fact that she would not. But yes, that is part of the agreement. She said since she's pregnant, she will not travel, and that he will have to come to her studio. We all know that her studio is in her home. So I think that's a strange choice. I don't know that I really like it, but whatever. She don't need me to tell her what to do.
Actually, I was going to use this umbrella to heckle the president's motorcade.
Like most conspiracy theories, this one had a much less memorable explanation. It was a jab at Kennedy's father, who as ambassador to Great Britain before World War II, had supported an appeasement policy with Hitler.
Has Exhibit 405 ever contained a gun or weapon of any sort?
This umbrella?
Yes.
No.
In a 1967 New Yorker column, John Updike considered the Umbrella Man, alongside the other people and details conspiracy theorists had squinted over. He wrote, quote, "We wonder whether a genuine mystery is being concealed here, or whether any similar scrutiny of a minute section of time and space would yield similar strangenesses, gaps, inconsistencies, warps, and bubbles in the surface of circumstance." And so it went with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Internet sleuths treated every person in the crowd as a potential suspect or co-conspirator.
We need to look into these umbrella boys, like these boys that showed up and were like huddling under an umbrella.
The content came so fast.
Okay, did you catch that? I'll show you in slow motion. The security guy in the blue and Charlie's bodyguard in the tent looked at their watch simultaneously.
There was a significant number of young men wearing maroon shirts.
First here, then here, then here, and it hits the back of his skull.
They all became side characters in an alternative theory. People who call themselves citizen journalists took the videos from multiple angles, slowed them down, and zoomed in to dissect and analyze facial expressions and hand movements from the growing list of crowdsourced suspects, and mark them up with red circles and arrows that, together, are supposed to add up to something. Same as the JFK conspiracy theorists, just working much, much faster and chasing the instant payouts from social media platforms. Stephen Prochaska studies how this kind of thing happens, how people
USS Liberty. Good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you here. We have a rule for new people. If you ever show up once, we expect you here every time after that, if at all possible. So hopefully we'll be seeing you around a lot more. And I'll just call off my schedule real quick. My schedule is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. Central, Friday, 6 p.m. Central, and then Saturday and or Sunday around 6 p.m. Central. So we try to do this 5 or 6 times a week. We do member shows every other week right now. I hope to eventually start doing them more often, but we're doing them every 2 weeks right now. So anyway, welcome. And I kind of know what you're talking about there for sure. I have looked into that stuff to a degree. And so let's hope that none of that happens, because that's the last thing. That's the last thing we need. That could be some scary shit. What's up, Kathy? Good to see you this morning. Good to see you.
People online collaborate to interpret events and create narratives to explain them. People in academia call it participatory misinformation or collective sense-making.
When we are trying to understand anything that we don't understand initially, we're uncertain, something's ambiguous, something's new or novel. And so we don't understand these things in isolation. There's the collective sense-making process. It does involve these crowds of people coming together, trying to understand something. But in practice, there are some people who just have more influence within a particular community. There are people whose almost entire livelihoods are based off of navigating this attention economy.
In other words,
thank you, Russian. Look, this right here is what I'm talking about. And this is the effect it had on so many people. And thank you for being here. I'm always upfront and honest about things. I don't necessarily talk about politics much, right? At least right now. Right now, we're kind of focused on this for obvious reasons. But yeah, generally, I'm right of center. I mean, at least on most issues. I'm not. Trust me, these days I'm no Republican, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. That's not what we're doing. And everybody can agree on something like this. You don't have to think that he deserved to die because you're left of center. And I don't know, you may not be left of center. You may just not have been a Charlie Kirk fan. I'm just saying. And historically, I respected him. I mean, I knew he was good at what he did. I enjoyed hearing him to a degree, but he was just too pro-Israel for me. So I didn't watch him a whole lot. And then, of course, there at the end, things started to change, and I started paying a little more attention to him towards the end, and then we all know what happened. But thank you, Russian. Thank you for that.
There's a hierarchy, and in this case, one person sits at the top. Since Charlie's death, I've watched nearly every episode of Candace's show. I know. Nearly every day of the week, in between ads for conservative branded moisturizers and beef subscription boxes and crisis pregnancy centers, Candace pulls up her conspiracy board and spins a new yarn about who might be implicated. Every episode gets millions of views. Here, in her own words, edited for clarity, is her loose theory of the Charlie Kirk assassination.
He was facing financial.
What? You're in Davidson County? I know exactly where that is. A couple hours from me, but yep, I know where you're talking about.
Financial threats. Over his shifting stance on Israel. We have to explore every lead because the feds are not. They are implicated in this cover-up. Charlie's wife is at the helm of the company. The reality is that you're most likely to be murdered by someone you know. I think we can all readily dismiss the repeated lie that Tyler Robinson confessed to his crime. This is a setup. Tyler was a patsy. I maintain that. This is not going to be the JFK story. I'm going to figure out exactly what happened, and I'm getting very close, against all odds.
Candace's videos are not as coherent as this edit. She digresses to dreams and Satan and time travel and Japan. It's a lot. And the episodes don't really make sense on their own, but together they paint this picture. Israel, billionaires, corrupt US government, greedy Turning Point, all conspiring to eliminate Charlie Kirk because, she says, he had finally broken free.
What's up, Vegas? Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Sorry, something caught my eye. Good to see you here. And yeah, we hope to be seeing you around more. Sometimes it takes a bit to get on the schedule, but yeah, thank you for being here. And yes, I understand what you mean about the pro-homo buying babies. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Of those who controlled him. It is worth saying, again, this is a story for which there is no evidence, has never been any evidence. And even as Candace promises she is getting closer to some proof, some witness, some break in the case, it never arrives. Now, a daily show is a big lift, and Candace only has a few employees, but she has a stable of volunteers, part of what she calls the Candace Intelligence Agency. It is a cottage industry of conspiracy theorists focused just on this case. Candace put it like this.
We are all partners in this group project to figure out what actually happened on September 10th.
Candace sits atop a network of online.
Yeah, that's fine, Vegas, and I think you've said that before. It's all good. Yeah, it's not a requirement, but we are always glad whenever you do drop into the chat. And y'all don't let me forget. I want to talk a little bit about merch when I get done, so y'all make sure I don't forget.
Creators who feed off, amplify, and ultimately make money off each other. I mapped it out like this. Every time Candace referred to another creator or piggybacked on their content, I put them on a list. Then I watched their content, and when they referred to another creator's theory or piggybacked on that, I put that person on the list too. It's not complete, but I think it's a useful data set for understanding this network. The creators on this list are podcasters, legal experts, gun enthusiasts, social media influencers, and a few.
I guess maybe I would fall into the fourth circle. There's three there, and hell, you never know, maybe the fifth circle, but we're working our way towards the center slowly.
People who really came out of nowhere. Each have their own pet theory. This decentralized media landscape is how influencers collaborate, how they build an audience, and how they are monetizing a complex, new conspiracist universe. Okay, so imagine that Candace Owens is the sun. She provides the gravitational pull that keeps the entire Who Killed Charlie Kirk universe alive. Her YouTube channel alone sits at 6 million subscribers. Every episode gets...
And that is only if you believe that is only if you believe in the globe earth and all that. And I'm not even saying which way I believe, but this theory of hers doesn't work if you're a flat earther for sure. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
It's at least 1 million views, and each post is a growth spurt for her channel and the smaller ones that she mentioned. You've got Ian Carroll, a conspiracy theorist and filmmaker known for blaming 9/11 on the Jews, and who early on blamed Israel for Kirk's death.
You would normally not think to look at Israel, which is like, Charlie is like the biggest Israel supporter ever. But when you understand the circumstances and the context, they immediately become the most likely.
Jimmy Dore, a stand-up comedian, was early to tell his audience that they shouldn't believe what they were being told about Kirk's death.
So JFK was killed by a magic bullet, but Charlie Kirk was hit with a miracle bullet. What are the odds?
Candace has been on both of their shows and vice versa. In effect, cross-pollinating their brands and widening their reach. Now with the mid-sized planets, they don't have an audience that Candace needs. Instead, they supply the fresh content to feed the overarching narrative. Guys like Baron Coleman, a lawyer and a former radio host, whose show Owens calls the after party to her.
You can tell that this has been a minute since she started researching for this. Look at that, 304. He's way past that now.
Coleman is a just asking questions guy. The word allegedly hangs on a sign behind him in his home office. His value comes in the holes he pokes in Tyler Robinson's criminal case.
Okay, what's wrong with that? If there's holes to be poked, then doesn't seem like that's a bad thing. Seems like that's a good thing.
Now, Coleman's pet theory, and it's maybe the most popular one, is that the rifle that prosecutors allege was used to shoot Kirk couldn't have done so because that gun was too powerful not to cause an exit wound.
The case was over. Tyler Robinson's not, I mean, in my opinion, not going to get convicted. Because that neck wound is so inconsistent with a gunshot.
Now, the prosecution hasn't entered an autopsy into evidence, but people close to Kirk, including his head of security, have said that the bullet was shot from a rooftop above, moved down, and fragmented inside Kirk's body. Coleman, without...
Hey, what's up? Good morning, Miss Susan, the original hall monitor. Everybody better shape up now.
Evidence posits that instead of a gun, Kirk may have been killed by an explosive device hidden in a microphone or a necklace. Then we've got Elizabeth Lane. She's smaller than Coleman, but a rising star.
Journalist Elizabeth Lane, that's the one who has been positing that Erica Kirk is a psychopath.
Lane's theory of the case is that Robinson is a patsy, likely the victim of a secret CIA mind control operation who was set up by his roommate.
That's Elizabeth Lane's theory, is that he's a patsy. Yeah, I think she's the only one that's ever said he's a patsy. It's like, come on.
Lane hails from the former Soviet Republic of Georgia and was until recently an actress and a model. But sometime in 2024, she started calling herself an investigative journalist and hosting programs on Unified TV. That's a streaming platform owned by a wellness guru who sells, among many other products, recliners that he claims can heal all sorts of ailments. Lane was kind of an unknown, attracting only the attention of fact-checkers and disinformation researchers for her pro-Kremlin dispatches and unqualified support for Putin around the war in Ukraine. But after Kirk's death, Lane went hard on conspiracy theories around Charlie Kirk. A high-profile interview with Tucker Carlson put her on the map.
I do want to ask you, it bothers me a lot, and I know it bothers you too.
Did the interview with Tucker Carlson put her on the map, or did she get an interview with Tucker Carlson because she is on the map?
And I know that you probably don't sleep because you think about this stuff. Who killed Charlie Kirk?
I mean, there's a man in custody.
Based in Utah, Lane became a fixture at the Tyler Robinson hearings.
Investigative journalist Elizabeth Lane is not giving up on the story. She's been on the ground in Utah connecting the CIA dots, the three-letter agency dots and connections.
Lane isn't the only person to come from nowhere. There's Billy Webb, a Candace Reply girl who I've sat behind in Tyler Robinson hearings. Billy was a flight attendant, an adult content creator.
Shout out Billy Webb, friend of the show. She's been on the show. And yeah, we talk every now and then. We're about getting her on the show again because she's been doing a lot of on the ground in Utah. So yeah.
And a van life influencer on TikTok before that. And now she's a popular Kirk truther.
There's a 22-year-old kid up against the death penalty for something that he didn't do, and I'm not going to stop talking about it.
Then you move out even further from the sun and you get to your niche creators. Now these are the architects of a very specific kind of content that informs the other creators and sometimes will eventually make it all the way upstream. There's Zach DeGregorio, aka Wolves and Finance. He makes content that alleges fiscal impropriety by Turning Point.
Anyone who knew about the political activity and was involved in the cover-up would go to prison. And yes, that includes Erica Kirk.
DeGregorio's content, presented with no actual evidence, has fueled the Turning.
You notice how she clips him. Like, she had to clip the part where he said anybody that would go to prison, including Erica Kirk. Like, she couldn't have clipped anything else other than
Point
that.
was in on it, conspiracy theories. Turning Point's lawyers have sent him a cease and desist letter.
I'm looking for a lawyer.
Mom and gossip vloggers who previously covered the Amber Heard trial and Blake Lively's legal drama turned their talents toward Erica Kirk.
I genuinely started to consider whether Erica is a pathological liar, has some sort of psychological disorder, is a variant from another timeline, or is a victim of MK Ultra. Like, I know the last two options sound pretty extreme, but that's genuinely where my mind started to go because I honestly just can't make sense of the things that she says.
That's Nisi, a Canadian YouTuber who started out like Candace, making videos assailing wokeness. And since Kirk's assassination, after she started posting about Erica, her channel's subscribers have grown by 50%.
YouTubers who do not get nearly enough credit for their amazing discoveries.
Kathy, I think that's going to be a good topic, possibly for a member show. The rules are a whole lot more relaxed. I would like to cover that topic, and I think I think that it is easy to draw some. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say 100%, but I get what you're saying, and I think there's something to that.
One such YouTuber is Nisi.
An astounding number of conspiracist creators have shot into the carcasses of various dead animals.
We got the pork shoulder, we got the stew, and then we got these 2 liters behind it.
We're gonna shoot a cow femur, and then to make it even harder, we're gonna slap on a huge slab of beef.
Hickory smoked young turkeys, but they're a lot thicker than a neck.
I do have a moose leg.
Chris Martenson, a former economist, he shot at pig carcasses for his videos, theorizing the bullet came from another shooter.
This shot you're about to watch strikes about in the center, goes right through the bone. Here's the paper behind it. Notice that there are no holes in it at this point. And the shot comes in, and it's just going to replay that over and over here so you can see it. So again, the shot's coming in downhill like this. From here to here, it's coming in on a downward angle.
But few of the sleuths in this outer galaxy have been more determined, or obsessed, as he puts it.
Here we go. This one pissed me off.
Then John Bray. Bray is an Oklahoma farmer who, with his wife, sells products like beef.
He's an Oklahoma farmer. Doesn't bring up all the years of experience that he's got with the textile stuff. Doesn't mention all of the, the vests and stuff that he had contracts to do for the federal government. Doesn't bring up any of that stuff. He's an Oklahoma farmer. And look at the screenshot she used. Like, of all the pictures of him floating around on the internet, that's the best thing she could do. I think not. It's like these people try to clip you out right mid-sentence or something, so you look ridiculous.
Tallow and kombucha. He is essential as the original architect of the exploding microphone theory. Bray watched Kirk's assassination and focused on the wireless microphone attached to Kirk's shirt. What if it wasn't just a microphone, Bray theorized, but a little bomb?
That's right, Apex. Absolutely. Good morning. Good to see you here. Have you been in the chat before? Sometimes it takes me a time or two, so forgive me if you have. But anyway, we got a rule. If you ever show up in the chat, we expect you here every time after that, at least if possible. So hopefully you will follow the rules, and we'll be seeing you here a lot. This is the best chat on the internet, best group of people you could hope to hang out with, I can promise you. And we do this 5 or 6 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. Central Time, Friday, 6 p.m. Central Time, Saturday and or Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Time. And welcome. Everybody in the chat will make you feel very welcome.
Bray tested his pet theory with experiments out of his garage. He built a tiny explosive device, encased it in a pig carcass, and set it off. He said the wound matched Kirk's.
And then you see the full rectangle kind of area on it.
As he explained on Kirk Truther podcasts, Bray fed Grok and Claude a stack of forensic papers, uploaded video of the assassination, and then told the chatbots to act as forensic experts. The result, Bray says, prove a quote,
he told the chatbots to act as forensic experts. Yeah, that's not really how that worked.
Coordinated multi-source event. These creators are singular and symbiotic. Over the last year, they have grown together, many doubling and tripling their audiences.
Look at all the different technical data he's got, and it's not all from, Claude or Grok. What about the code that he got and modified just specifically for this? Talk about broad strokes. I mean, again, it's a hit piece. She's trying to make him look like and sound like a dumb hick, like myself. And for us, obviously that doesn't work, but a lot of people, when they hear this, they just roll their eyes, they laugh, and they're like, yeah, bunch of dummies.
And to be very, very clear, this, for most of them, is their full-time job.
Consider signing up for a membership on my website, wolvesandfinance.com. For $6 a month, your support helps me to keep making these videos.
There is a whole lot of money to be made on YouTube and downstream by pushing these conspiracy theories. For Candace, there's the membership. For $12 a month, Club Candace gets you into a private forum. And the donation she asks to fund her legal fights, but which the small print clarifies she can spend any way she likes. And then there's the live audience paying her in real time with super chats. Those are messages that viewers buy to get their comment penned up high so that Candace might read it on air. But for Candace, the big money, it comes from ads. It's not clear just how much Candace makes per ad. According to Bloomberg, top conservative podcasts, including Candace.
Kelly, if you're referencing Kathy's chat, I don't know, and you may be talking about two different things, but she said she looks like a librarian. Anyway, I see where you're talking about being a libertarian. So if y'all are talking about two different things, never mind me. I just happened to see those two going by.
Can command anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 from reading a single ad. Candace isn't the only conspiracist making a living off Kirk's death. Baron Coleman, the host of the Candace After Party, he quit his job as a lawyer this year to be a full-time podcaster.
Friday, January 2nd. I informed my full-time job that I was no longer going to be an employee there.
Now, Coleman streams 3 or 4 hours at a stretch, about 5 days a week. And a good chunk of those hours is just Coleman reading super chats out loud. $5 here, $200 there.
I didn't realize they were sending you money with these. I didn't even see the dollar signs next to these things. Wow, look at you guys.
Yeah, that's so we don't run ads. They're paying me to not run ads.
According to Playboard, a YouTube analytics platform that counts super chats, a single one of his streams can pull in as much as $6,000. In all, he's earned about $350,000. On top of that, of course, Coleman sells merch and a $9.99 a month membership that unlocks private streams. Not bad for a father of 8 who told me by text he isn't chasing it. I'm not out to be a new media star, he said. Even the creators with tiny audiences can hit gold. John Bray, that guy with the farm and the exploding mic theory, his tiny channel has a link to support this work that goes to his Blue Mountain Farm website. In early December, he starts to appear on some of the bigger truther shows, like this one, from a guy who goes by the handle Trigger Smart. The next day,
she could have got some better clips if she would have clipped them out of one of mine, Much better clips.
Baron Coleman covers the Bray theory.
I think he's onto something here.
And then Candace gives him a shout out.
I have seen John Bray and the work that he's doing. I find it to be very compelling as well. And I have been communicating with him behind the scenes.
For John and his farm, a small miracle, a massive influx of orders and messages.
No one could have ever guessed the variables that have come together to sort of allow us to now be known really worldwide.
And it's wrong. It's dirty. It's shady. It's dishonest. It's no good that he has gained an audience based on his analysis and theories regarding the case, and in so doing has gotten more attention to his products. I don't see really what the issue is. The man has an audience. The audience wants his products. I mean, how is that a bad thing?
Lately, we've had so many requests for people wanting our products across the globe.
You might have picked up that I'm not trying to debunk Candace or the creators in her orbit. Most of them rest on this overwrought
You'd have a hard time doing that, I do believe.
innuendo and red string theories that either can't be disproved because they never state a real claim or take enormous energy to disprove. And for those, there's little payout because by the time you do, they're on to their next storyline. It follows Brandolini's law, coined back when Twitter was good, that says the amount of energy needed to refute bullshit is an order of magnitude bigger than needed to produce it. But for farmer John Bray's work, since it seems like the most concrete and has spread the farthest.
Did you see that exploding mic theory? Did you guys talk about that on here?
I've heard that theory, but I don't know.
And with good reason. There is a reason why that theory has gone the furthest.
If that makes sense.
I think the energy may be worth it, both to get the facts out there and to show what it takes for someone trained as a librarian and a journalist to get to the bottom of just one of these theories. So, first, I reached out to Josh Brunty. Josh Brunty is a professor of cyber forensics at Marshall University with a joint appointment in the Department of Criminal Justice, Criminology, and Forensic Sciences, and Department of Computer Sciences and Electrical Engineering. He serves on the editorial boards of Forensic Science International, Digital Investigation, and the Journal of Forensic Sciences, is a fellow of the Digital and Multimedia Science.
Gene Spliced, yes, and never his head never even snapped back. See, that's the thing that this is the problem. If it would have gone clean through, yes, it would still snapped his head back. But I could come closer to believing it if it had gone clean through. If it'd been a Full Metal Jacket or something and just zipped through both sides, okay, I could get on board with that maybe. But the fact that they're saying it went in and did not exit means it dumped all of that 2,750 foot-pounds of energy. It dumped every single bit of that into his 5-inch neck and yet didn't even throw his head back. I'm telling you now, based on the years and years of hunting and shooting I've done, it should have turned him a backflip out of that chair. I've shot deer, like looking straight on, right dead center of the chest. And I mean, and this is not even with a 30-06, this is with 300 blackout. It's 30 caliber, but it's not that hot. But I shot a doe one time, right dead center of her chest, and it knocked her a legitimate backflip. Like, she landed facing the same direction she started from. She did a full flip all the way over and was still facing the same direction when she hit the ground. So I'm sorry. You just can't convince me that thing went into his neck, dumped all that energy, and didn't even push his head back.
It's a section of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences and is the author of loads of award-winning research, including research on forensic analysis of wearable devices.
They're able to essentially generate scientific content, videos that might look credible. They might use reverse projection techniques that are somewhat used in the forensic community, but they're able to...
Oh, they are somewhat used in the forensic community.
To generate scientific terminology that make these things seem as if they're real. And then they're able to produce a website within a matter of minutes and post those analyses to that.
So basically, he's saying the issue is the ability to take data and plug it in somewhere and come out with something. And then we've got the ability then to make a website and put it on there. That's the problem. Has anybody heard him address the issues with the data or with the conclusion? No. The problem is that a air quotes, Oklahoma farmer can take videos and stuff, analyze them, come out with, something legitimate using scientific terms, as he said, and then put it on a website, that's the problem.
Particular site.
Do you trust this website?
I mean, to have that whole list of credentials, and to be as smart as he's supposed to be, why did he not talk about some of the problems with John Bray's theory? Why they never ever address the material, they never address the message. It's always the messenger.
Website.
I'm very suspect of it.
Then I talked to a second video forensics
Oh, he said I'm very suspect of it.
expert who declined to go on the record because of the nature of this story.
Oh,
They said
yeah.
there was no scenario where the
course.
types of measurement that Bray claims he was making could be made from the videos on his website.
Well, that does it. Pack it up. Let's go home. I believe her. What about y'all? Y'all believe her?
Then I emailed Gunnar Farnbeck. He's the inventor of the optical flow algorithm that Bray cites as his main method of investigation. Dr. Farnbeck said in part, quote, "I have a hard time making sense of the optical flow related claims on that site. From the parts I think I understand, it seems likely that there are enough methodological flaws that the analysis provides little evidence for or against any hypothesis at all."
Again, example. Show us where the problem is. Don't just like take and from the parts I think I understand. So he's saying that he doesn't even really for sure understand what he's saying and what he's doing there. There may be, because I don't understand, there may be methodological flaws. But since he doesn't understand exactly, how can he say without a doubt that there are methodological flaws? And it provides little evidence for or against any hypothesis at all. So again, he's not saying it's wrong. He says nothing for or against. So I'm missing where this makes John Bray wrong.
Then I asked an expert to analyze the audio. I sent Bray's website to Dr. Robert Marr. He's a professor of electrical and computer engineering at Montana State University, Bozeman, and author of the textbook Principles of Forensic Audio Analysis. He specializes in gunshot sounds. He said the audio from the Kirk shooting had the classic ballistic crack of a bullet passing by the microphone and then the pop sound of the muzzle blast from a gun. He said, quote, "Any assertion that a microphone..."
And I think that John Bray has showed his data and says the exact same thing, that there is that it's called a mock cone, but he has showed where there was a supersonic crack and a projectile. So again, not a good argument.
phone Mr. Kirk was wearing was somehow involved in the fatal injury would need to account for why the ballistic audio characterization is exactly aligned in time.
Let's see, maybe possibly, allegedly, maybe perhaps. Maybe it's because the crack from the supersonic shot, the supersonic projectile, triggered the device, and it happened at the same time. And he's not bringing up the claim that there is another sound signature that originates from under the tent.
And while we're here, the speed of the bullet, Marr said, something like 800 meters per second from his audio analysis, would also rule out a handgun or palm pistol, as other conspiracy theorists have suggested.
Yeah, well, I'm way past handgun or palm pistol. I don't know about y'all. I hope y'all are too.
What's the palm gun guy, Jesse? Well, the palm gun guy is a member of Charlie's security team, and it does appear that he had a palm gun and fired it at Charlie at point blank range. Here's the footage.
Take a look at this man right here, folks. This is Charlie Kirk's security guy. He appears to have a palm gun in his right hand, and he aims it at Charlie Kirk and squeezes the palm gun, firing off a round directly into Charlie Kirk's neck.
No.
Dr. Marr declined to speak about Bray further. He said, quote, "I'm sorry to say that I don't have the time or interest in going through a conspiracy theorist's claims in a step-by-step manner. My work goes from the audio evidence without need to conjure up details that are likely due to limitations of the recorded data and other faulty assumptions."
I want to see his findings. I want to see his analysis.
Finally, I tried to talk to John Bray to check what I found and ask him what I was missing about his theory.
Everything. Beyond everything.
He declined to be interviewed, as did most of the Kirk conspiracists mentioned in Candace's network.
Oh, I'm going to talk to John about that. I'm going to see if he just flat declined to be interviewed or what. And look, if he did, you know what? That's his right. That's his choice. I wouldn't blame him, but I'm going to talk to John and find out just for some clarity.
And really, there's no reason for them to talk to me or any other journalist at all. Their audiences are loyal and growing. Their universe is expanding.
Especially when they know your dumb ass is going to sit here and do exactly what you're doing. You turn this into a hit piece. You're not answering questions. You didn't investigate anything.
With new creators joining all the time, just hoping to break through.
It is a great day. We made it to Candace. We made it on.
Congrats, Jay. You made it into the MS Now hit piece. Congrats, Jay.
On Candace's show.
If you have deep connections with Candace, so please make sure you get this video to her.
Candace needs to see this.
Stop telling content creators someone already covered that. We got it. We have to keep covering to keep this story alive.
I've reported on conspiracy theories for a long time now, and the question I got a lot was, why do you focus so much on the political right? But it wasn't really ever a choice. While there are plenty of conspiracy theories on
Jay Bogey, good to see you here. Good morning. Welcome in. I haven't seen you here before. So welcome. We've got a rule. If you ever drop into the chat, we always look for you and expect for you to come back later. So hopefully you will follow the rules and you will be back. This is the best chat on the internet. Awesome group of people to hang out with. I can promise you these people are great. So yes, this is a standalone air quotes documentary. It is, this lady here is from MS Now. But yes, agreed. Let's see, this hit piece, is she doing the same thing, or is this something from a TV series? It appears to be the same type of content everyone else does, just her opinion. That is exactly, that is right. The issue I have with it is that quotes taken out of context, theories just completely intentionally made a mockery, to make them sound stupid. So yes, that's it. It was sanctioned by MS Now. It's an MS Now documentary, air quotes documentary. But yes, that's all it is. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, just some smell worse than others, and hers is pretty bad.
the left. The right was, with a few exceptions, just better at this game. They were more willing to embrace conspiracy theories as a means to a political end. Charlie Kirk certainly was.
You can see the white population collapse in LA. That's intentional. They've wanted it that way. They want us to believe that this was a political attack against Paul Pelosi. About 2 9/11s have already died of people that have died since getting the vaccine. But it could be 10 or 20 times beyond that, because some people might not be registering these adverse reactions. And I'm just saying reportedly have died. I just want to be very clear about this.
And maybe because of that, when conspiracy theorists
Oh, that was a conspiracy theory. Hey, y'all do me a favor. Let's see. Put ones in the chat if you think what Charlie said there was a conspiracy theory, air quotes again. Or put 2 in the chat if you think he was onto something.
like Candace Owens grabbed hold of Kirk's assassination, when they turned on Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA and Trump effectively, a lot of people felt like, well, perhaps they had it coming.
Jen, I had your same feelings with Candace. I guess the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because I kept agreeing with her. Yeah. But I kept being like, this is Candace Owens. You can't.
It was something I brought up to Jack Posobiec, Kirk's regular podcast co-host who famously pushed Pizzagate and a million other conspiracy theories since. I was at Turning Point's America Fest in December. I was trying to report on the future of Kirk's organization, but I found attendees preoccupied with the conspiracy theories about Kirk's death. So was Posobiec.
To the haters out there, no, these.
We ain't got to it yet, Miss Debbie. We're going to cover that jet, I promise. That very, very soon.
Robin Simpers, and that's what I'm going to call them, the Robin Simpers. No, Tyler Robinson did this. He did this. If we're ever going to get through this personally, let alone the movement, the organization, etc., you got to start with that. You just got to start with that.
Now he was asking for compassion, for common sense. He was asking people to believe the official narrative about Tyler Robinson and to leave a grieving widow alone. But what Posobiec should well know, and what Turning Point was learning,
Good morning, Brutally Honest. Good to see you here.
Is that conspiracy
Jackie Hughes, what's up? What's up? Good to see you. Good morning.
theories don't stop. The theories build, and the collection of actors who must be in on it just grows.
TBUSA, the state government of Utah, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the U.S. military, foreign militaries, they're all involved.
By far, and surprisingly, some of the worst conspiracy theories have come for Kirk's widow, Erica. Since his death and since she took over as CEO of Turning Point, there's been a constant stream of commentary and content mocking and criticizing both Charlie Kirk and Erica. Viral AI songs, and comedy.
Get on your feet! Every morning I wake up to a new.
He did such a good job with that. I know. Forgive me, Lord, but he did such a good job.
New headline lying about me.
Now, making fun is one thing, accusing her of murder is another. Public attempts to stop the conspiracy theories have only seemed to make things worse. I asked Turning Point USA for an interview to find out what they were dealing with and what they saw as the path forward. They declined to go on the record, but they invited me to their Phoenix headquarters where I sat down with Erica and other leadership. They spent hours with me, they answered all my questions. What I saw was an organization struggling to weather a storm that would have been unthinkable a year ago, struggling to grieve, struggling to navigate near constant threats and harassment, and wondering each day what false storyline Candace Owens will come up with next. In April, Turning Point USA canceled Erica's appearance at the University of Georgia, citing serious threats to her safety. San Antonio police arrested a 26-year-old in May for making terroristic threats against Erica and an upcoming women's conference.
A lot of twos in the chat.
Before Kirk's assassination, Turning Point had a war chest full of cash and political.
Yeah, the difference between a conspiracy theory and a fact now is just a matter of weeks or months in some cases, That's all it is.
Capital, and was ready to spend it on the midterms. Kirk was pulling in $85 million a year, mostly from his hard-won Rolodex of anonymous wealthy donors. And while Kirk's death inspired a surge in followers and new funds, it remains to be seen if Erica Kirk can pull Turning Point through the conspiracy storm.
What is the vision for Turning Point USA?
Pull TPUSA through the conspiracy theory storm. But she acts like that this is in no way related to her and the people around her. Now, I'm not saying she's guilty of anything, but the whole reason that we have questions is only because of the way her and Turning Point, have handled this thing.
Aside from the elephant in the room about my husband.
She acts like the conspiracies just popped up, it didn't have anything to do with anybody, it's just terrible people making terrible assumptions, and now she's got to try to weather the storm.
Our mission is the same.
Before Kirk's assassination, Turning Point was mobilizing young conservatives to win races large and small. Now it's tied to J.D. Vance's 2028 hopes after Erica Kirk endorsed him. And TPUSA's early midterm results have been a mixed bag. Its candidates have won a lot of state primaries, but it also poured money into board races for Arizona's biggest utility in April and lost.
We beat Turning Point USA.
Beyond elections, Charlie Kirk was trying to hold together a MAGA coalition on the brink of civil war. Now Erica...
Yes, Jay Bogey. Look, I have 4 or 5 interviews with John Bray. So if you are at all interested in his theories or what he's got to say, I have him on once a month. He committed to that, and that's what he's been doing. He's been coming on once a month. And so, yes, go back. And I don't think we addressed it, or if we did, it wasn't a whole lot in the last one that we did, maybe the one before that. But if you'll go back and check those out, he breaks down that audio analysis. It may be the third one back, but anyway, and you know what? Hey, it's good to watch. Regardless, you can go back and just watch them all if you wanted to. But there is one where he pulls up his analysis, his audio analysis, and yes. So basically, in a nutshell, real quick. He did not like the theory. I did not like the theory. Some people they had this theory that they shot a bullet into the back of the van that was sitting over there. He didn't like it. I didn't like it. A lot of people thought it sounded dumb, but he said he cannot argue with the sound signatures. And so what it was showing was that there was definitely a supersonic projectile that was traveling across that courtyard. And, you know, you can see the whole the mock cone and everything. I mean, he's got all the data on there, but then there's also another separate sound that generates from under the tent. And he goes into detail about all that. And as bad as he hated to admit it, based on the sound signature, there also was a .30 caliber bullet that struck ballistic gel just based on the audio analysis. So it's interesting stuff. Go back and check that out. Yeah, John Bray, that's where we're at on his theory now.
Kirk has to do it without him, supporting Trump while honoring her husband's opposition to an unpopular war waged by the US and Israel against Iran. Meanwhile, conspiracists are playing back Kirk's own videos, including one questioning the assassination attempt on Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Was this a setup? What's going on here?
As proof that if he were still alive, he'd be questioning his death right alongside them. And maybe he would. What's clear is that, at least online, without a North Star, Turning Point is being drowned out by the same conspiracists that Charlie Kirk used to command.
All right, you guys, straight to jail.
Again, it's his fault. Yeah, Charlie Kirk's the problem. He created this. It is him. It is he. That is why all this is going on.
Straight to jail for questioning at least Erica. I don't care who's mad. I really do not care who wants to be upset after this episode.
When I sat down with Erica Kirk, she told me the conspiracy theories and lies from Owens and her minions were hurtful and frustrating, but that she'd already lived through the worst thing that can happen to her, so she'd weather this. Prosecutors say they have DNA evidence, multiple confessions, and videos showing Robinson's guilt. Erica and Turning Point are...
So let's see some of that. You're quick to point out, you know, what you feel like are untruths with our theories and what we've been, discussing. Let's see some of that. Let's talk about the fact that every single item that had Tyler's DNA on it also had his roommate's DNA on it, among others. Let's talk about the fact that on certain of those items, not only did they have other people's DNA on them, but Tyler's was the most degraded. Let's talk about all that. Let's talk about let's see some of that grainy footage where you can't identify anybody. And so this is the problem. This is the problem. It's always one-sided, and it's not even one-sided. You know, she takes everything out of context to make us look dumb, and at the same time, she doesn't show all this overwhelming proof that she is claiming is supposed to be there. Yeah, and herein lies the problem. This is why Andrew Wilson is going to have a really hard time when he sits down with Candace, if it actually ever happens, because he's not going to be able to prove anything. All he's going to be able to do is point to the documents that say we have this, we have that. No, buddy, fucking prove it.
Hoping that a trial will come soon and that Robinson will be found guilty, and they're hoping that an open televised trial will quiet the conspiracy theory.
Oh, they're hoping that Tyler will be found guilty because they know without a shadow of a doubt that it was him. Fuck the court system. Fuck the foundation that all this was built on about being innocent until proven guilty. Screw all that. She hopes that Tyler Robinson is found guilty. This is my words, not hers. Put to death, and then out of sight, out of mind. Let's move on and forget it ever happened.
I'm not so sure. It'll be easy for conspiracists to fold in the courts and evidence presented by prosecutors into their stories.
Our courts are completely compromised. Our courts want nothing to do with this.
The JFK conspiracy theory was the defining one of America's 20th century, and this may be the defining one of the 21st. Candace Owens' conspiracy theorists love the comparison.
Any other similarities between the JFK assassination and the Charlie Kirk?
About 5 million. Israel's basically the only power capable of such an assassination of JFK and Charlie Kirk.
From JFK to MLK, now to CJK, this is, in my opinion, an undeniable state killing.
Why would an official story be enough to stop them? And why?
That's exactly right, Lisa Marie. Ain't got anything to do with the conspiracy theories. Not at all. She has flown that right into a tailspin.
Why would they start caring about who gets hurt? The Candace Owens conspiracy machine shouldn't just worry Turning Point or MAGA. Anyone can become cannon
Why
fodder.
should they care who gets hurt? What about why should we care that we actually get justice for Charlie? Because if they convict a man and sentence a man that is not actually guilty of the crime, then guess what? That is no justice whatsoever. If the wrong person is convicted, and look, I've said from the beginning, I don't doubt. Matter of fact, I feel like he probably was involved in some way. He probably knew he was going to do something, had some part in this plan. Probably, allegedly, don't know. I just don't feel like he alone did this and that he personally killed Charlie. That is just my opinion. Leave it at that.
Doesn't matter which side you're on. And the danger from this new era of conspiracy theory isn't just that we'll be duped by misinformation, but that we'll lose our sense of direction, that we'll give up on trying to make sense of what's real and what's not, and blindly trust strongmen or follow snake oil saleswomen who frame everything as a lie and a threat. How far can we go down the rabbit hole before we're lost there?
Did she prove it to you? Do y'all now believe that this is all a big grift and that that there's nothing to any of it, and that Tyler Robinson definitely for serials is the killer and he definitely needs to go to jail? Did y'all come to that conclusion? Oh, it was, yeah, she had me from hello. All right, guys.
I'm going to show you something here. I don't do this often. I don't do this often because I don't like when people do this, because I think when you release communication, it should be as a shield, not a sword. But Zadrozny's left me with no choice because she's acting like I, your humble host, refused her offer to discuss this, and I was of no help. Wednesday, February 11th. Notice it's August. This was 6 months ago tomorrow. It's now August. She's been working on this story since February. Hey, Baron, this is Brandy Zadrozny from MS. Have a sec to talk today? I'll be honest, I'd never heard of MS. I thought she was talking about multiple sclerosis. I didn't know if she was like trying to raise money for a medical charity. No idea what she was talking about. No idea what MS means. Can you be more specific? Sorry, MS Now. Used to be MSNBC. Used to be NBC News. I'm still getting used to it too. Roger got it. Happy to chat by text. Okay, does that sound like I'm rebuffing her? I don't want to have anything to do with her. I'm refusing to be. No. Okay, then she posted a recent article about Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Einstein. Great, thanks. The short of it is that I've reported on Charlie and TPUSA for nearly a decade and think his death and the fracturing of his organization is one of the most notable events in recent memory. And to document it all, we're working on a narrative podcast that tells Kirk's story and documents to fallout from his assassination. Part of the story, will have to be about the distrust in the FBI's handling of the case.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kathy. I every now and then I slip. I try my best not to. I do know there's some people that don't appreciate that. So I apologize. I try not to do that very much.
Oh man, I didn't quite capture it all. But I copy it down in a second, so I'll show you that. And the most notable events in recent memory, and to document it all here it is. Yeah. Part of the story will have to be about the distrust in the FBI's handling this case and the questions that you and so many others have been interrogating. I'm reaching out to you and some others who have been authoritative in this space to see if you'd be willing to talk on the record or maybe be up for a kind of profile of you and your work. I'm less interested in trying to prove or disprove alternative theories. You're part of what I think of as the great splintering of modern media, and I'd love to talk with you about it.
Welcome, Almost Smart. Good to see you. I've never seen you in here before, so welcome. This is the best chat on the internet. I can promise you these people are the best. They will make you feel super welcome. And we do a lot of good stuff here. We got a lot of stuff coming up. John Bray comes on here once a month. He was on just a couple weeks ago. And then he'll be coming up again here before too much longer. And then we got Clint Russell coming up in the future. We got Ana Escobar, Rio Gates, and more. The list goes on and on. And tomorrow we have Muppet Masher, probably one of the most prolific investigators on X. He's contributed to Barron. He contributes a ton to Alley Top Files, and the list goes on and on and on. So he's done amazing work, and he's got some stuff that hasn't been talked about. And he will be right here in the morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, and we're gonna talk about some of all that stuff. He'll be dropping some bombs on us, and so. But yeah, we got a rule: if you show up once, we expect you to show up after that, if at all possible. So please do. Hopefully you'll follow the rules, and we'll see you here a bunch. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. Central. Friday, 6 p.m. Central. Saturday and/or Sunday, 6 p.m. Central. And again, welcome.
We're making several reporting trips the next 2 months, so we have some time. If you're at all interested, happy to answer your questions. Does that piece that she produced sound like that she is wanting to talk about the great splintering of modern media? Does it? Because it doesn't to me. It doesn't to me at all. I've embedded some questions in your text above. So I copied her text, and then in brackets, I put all my questions. So here's her open. I reported on Charlie and TPUSA for a decade. Can you send me a few representative articles of your reporting on Charlie and TPUSA? I just wanted to get an idea of what it was that she thought about Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. And think of his death, the fracturing of organizations, one of the most notable events in recent memory.
Absolutely. I've said this 1,000 times. Guys, y'all can back me up in the chat if you remember me saying this. I probably haven't said it 1,000 times. But yes, that is in fact the case. And that is the way our system is designed. It is better for 10 guilty men to walk free than for one innocent man to be falsely accused. They are talking about taking the man's life, the kid's life. And with our system of justice, it is not perfect, but when, applied correctly, that is the way it's supposed to be. Yes, it is better for somebody to get off the hook every now and then than for somebody that has not done anything wrong or has not done what has been alleged that they did, to be convicted and sentenced and, have to pay the price over something they didn't do. That's just the way it is. That means some are going to slip through the cracks. People that should have might not get what they deserve. At the end of the day, though, it is still better for that to happen than for somebody that is innocent to be convicted.
Can you elaborate on what is notable about A, his death, B, the fracturing of his organization? On item B, can you send me documentation where TPUSA is fracturing? Hey, I'm not going to take everything you say at face value. You're going to have to support your claims here. And to document it all, we're working on a narrative podcast that tells Kirk's story. Me, what is Kirk's story? His biography, his founding and leading of TPUSA, his death, and documents to fallout. Can you define fallout? That was me. Can you define fallout? What is the fallout you're talking about from the assassination? Part of the story will have to be about the distrust in the FBI's handling of the case. And then I comment in the brackets here. The case is being led by Utah authorities. Do you have parameters around what portion, if any, is being handled by the FBI? If so,
exactly. And sorry, I know I keep interrupting him. Exactly. Good point. Very good point. Just like this has become a pattern. Just like the story of how Charlie definitely appointed Erica to be his successor. They saw the video. Yeah, they let us watch the video, and he definitely said he wanted her to be the CEO if anything happened to him. For some reason, yes, that is very, very interesting how these leftist outlets, the very ones that Charlie Kirk fought with tooth and nail for years, are getting exclusives. And in this case, actually standing up. Look at Barry Weiss at the town hall, 100% on her side. What's up with that? Again, though, to me, it kind of goes with the whole, right from the get-go, it was a transferee. Normally, look how many shootings we've had recently in the past few years that were, trans or trans adjacent people. And so, but they always do, they always do backflips to keep from saying it's a trans person. They try their best to not mention that fact. But then all of a sudden with this one, for some reason, before anything ever really came out much, that was the very first thing that all the news channels the news outlets were screaming, was that it was over trans. It was over transfer. When I heard that, I knew something was up.
Can you share them so we can be on the same page? Guys, this is basic stuff. If you're going to claim that there's distrust in the FBI's handling, which part are they handling? I've got to know what's alleged to be distrusted here. And the questions that you So I ask, what is your understanding of the scope of my questions? What questions am I asking? In other words, what claims are you wanting me to defend? And so many others have been interrogating. I'm reaching out to you and some others who've been authoritative in this space to see if you'd be willing to talk on the record. Bracket. I need to see the answers to my questions above to make sure we're operating on the same understanding of the work I've done to date before evaluating whether to participate in your effort. Or maybe even be up for a kind of profile of you and your work. Bracket. All of my work is publicly available. I'm less interested in trying to prove or disprove alternative theories. Me. Bracket. Can you define alternative theories, and on what basis could you conclude they are alternative? You're part of what I think of as the great splintering of modern media. Me. How so? And I'd love to talk with you about it. My questions are bracketed. Happy to review your responses. That's right. You're a lawyer. Will reply ASAP. When you see me heart something, that means I'm done talking for now until I hear back that on a different subject. Please stop responding. If you're ever in a text conversation with me and I heart something of yours, that's like, hey, we've had enough tonight. Let's go to bed.
That's why it drives me crazy to get a thumbs up from somebody. I mean, look, if you want to drop a thumbs up on the message that I sent and then reply, that's great. But whenever a person just sends me a thumbs up, I'm like, yeah, fucking too.
Not with each other. just stop talking to me. That's kind of my, and she took it. She stopped talking.
Good morning, Jeannie. And yes, thank you for becoming a member. That is awesome. We do members every 2 weeks right now. I hope to start doing them more, but for right now, we're doing every 2 weeks. And look, crowdsourced topics. Obviously, I'm focused on this right now. So anything that you want to talk about, conspiracy or otherwise, just let me know. There is a post up. You'll have to go back a little. There is a post up though on my YouTube channel where I tell people to drop in there what they would like to talk about. So, and of course I've got you on X too. So you can always let me know that way. But be thinking of a topic. So we've been working on moon landing. We're going to do Bay of Pigs. There's a couple others that we're talking about doing. So I think Titanic's on the list, and yeah, there's several. So
then she responded. Sorry for the delay. I'm juggling assignments because of the Einstein drop. So regarding the podcast, we're still in early stages. And as we talk to people, more of the story will take shape. Happy to answer some of these, but I don't go into reporting with a fixed idea of what I find or the conclusion.
Hey, make sure you subscribed and got that notification bell on, Jay Bogey. Like I said, all kinds of good stuff coming up, including John Bray, Clint Russell. We've got, lots of good ones coming up, and Muppet Master in the morning. So y'all want to make sure y'all are back for that too. I promise y'all will really, really enjoy that. So, yeah, good to see you. Welcome. And I hope to see you back real soon, buddy. Thanks.
I draw. As I learn more, the story will reflect that. And then she sent me a few representative articles on her reporting on Charlie and TPUSA. Charlie talking about her, a video of her at TPUSA that went viral. And then she answered some other stuff. Can I elaborate what's notable about his death? I've written and believe that he could have been president. He was one of the most powerful figures in the MAGA movement. Without them, there has been a vacuum at TPUSA. Oh, Zadrozny. On that, we agree. And I agreed back in February. I think TPUSA's fracture is evident in the recent firings, but also I've attended TPUSA events and talked to fans online, and the audience is not unified at all in their support. Oh, that didn't make it in your piece. You blamed Candace.
Of course, it's always Candace. And Ruth, yes. It seems like the leftists are worried we are actually going to figure out it was a deep state hit. Yes, I agree. I feel like they're concerned that we are going to realize that, and that also it is the same mother effers. It's the same damn people that do this for both sides, whether it's right or whether it's left. It's the same ones. Two sides of the same coin, right? I'm not saying there's no political difference between the two parties. I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, the deep state, the ones that are orchestrating all this and facilitating these types of things, they don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. Whatever is politically, geopolitically, advantageous to them.
Blake Neff quoted your piece and blamed Candace. Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was our fault.
Morning, Autohoax. Good to see you.
Some people thinking Erica shouldn't be leading because she's a woman. Others think more nefarious things. This isn't uncommon in big orgs that lose a leader. Brandy, all that was noticeably absent from your reporting when you were just hacking around on people who've been covering this case. And to document it all, we're working on a narrative podcast that tells Kirk's story. Yes, a profile of Kirk in life and death, and documents the fallout from how his death has impacted TPUSA and the wider conservative movement. Will the org survive without CK as its leader? Well, MAGA. And then she responds to some of these. The FBI was criticized for Patel's early posts, especially the texts.
Oh, it's good to see you here. Really good to see you here. Thank you for popping in. Hey, you don't want to be late tomorrow. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Time. We got Muppet Masher. He's a very prolific investigator on X that has contributed to a lot of these big creators on some of the stuff that they've broke. He's going to be on with me in the morning. I promise you there will be some, you don't want to miss it. I can promise you that. It is going to be good.
I'm aware that the Utah County Attorney's Office is handling, but the press conferences with Patel and Cox and Mike Smith and Jeff Gray muddled that fact for the general public. I believe I saw a post where you were calling for the FBI to investigate. What's your understanding of the scope? I've watched several of your videos. I'll watch them all if you decide you're interested in talking to me for the project, but I've seen ones where you say you don't think a bullet killed Charlie, and I've examined alternative methods, maybe as Mike. I've also seen videos where you seem to interrogate the theory that there was a cover-up by Kirk's Inner Circle. Okay.
Hey, I see y'all talking about the pictures of the shirt. If you got something that you're wanting to share, just go in there under the community tab, and just make a post and drop it there, and everybody can go check it out there.
So you've seen a little bit. Alternative theories here, theories about outside the FBI and UCAOs that TR acted alone with a gun.
Jenny, great minds think alike. Exactly.
I mean,
I promise I didn't see your chat before I said that.
Okay. How am I part of the great splintering of the modern media? Mainstream media used to be gatekeepers. Boy, do they long for the day that they can return to that. Because she's part of the mainstream media. She wants to be a gatekeeper. She wants to tell you what you are allowed to believe. She wants to tell you what you are allowed to read, what you're allowed to hear, what you're allowed to see. These people are so fundamentally dishonest in the way they come across. These people are so, there was a time in the United States where if Walter Cronkite said it, it happened, and if he didn't, it did not.
Them days are gone.
That time, ladies and gentlemen, has passed. Walter Cronkite is quite dead. He's been dead. All of the mainstream media has lost their gusto. They've lost their oomph. And they can't stand it. They hate that you are allowed to bypass them and get information. They can't stand it. Mainstream media used to be gatekeepers that provided information distilled from experts. Oh, it was the experts, ladies and gentlemen. They had suitcases, or they had briefcases in their hands. That's how we knew they were experts. Now there are a million different places to get what serves as news. It's been happening, but especially since COVID, people are opting out of the old model and finding sources they trust to offer new perspectives outside of the official and mainstream. That's because you guys are liars.
Exactly.
That's because you misrepresent what happened, just like you did in this piece. And that's because you put words in my mouth that I never said, and people can go back and look, and they can ask me about it. They can contact me anytime they want and say, did you say this? No, in fact, I didn't say that. They can tune in and listen to me critique your piece. You're a hack, Randy. You're a hack.
A hack, a political hack. And hey, Heather B, we got Heather B and Heather P. Good to see you. Good to see you. And thank you for becoming a member.
And if you did this to me, how do I believe you did Trigger Smart right? How do I believe you did John Bray right? How do I believe you did Elizabeth Lane right? How do I believe you did Candace Owens right?
You didn't.
Maybe I'm going to be the only one to release all the text, but I'm irritated by the fact that you acted like nobody wanted to cooperate with you, or most people didn't want to cooperate with you. Because watch how this ends. Watch how this conversation ends.
Oh, Lisa Marie, if you unsubscribe, you better subscribe back. I'll be sadly disappointed if you don't. But yeah, try that. I don't know. There have been people from time to time that have said the same thing. I don't know. I swear sometimes YouTube hates me. Like last week, we were getting, 200 people live, and this morning, I think we had about 60 something at one point. So for some reason, I don't know what it is, but yes, it's like it just doesn't get pushed out there. So again, like that is a big, that helps a lot. But yeah, you could try that.
I did go a week or so without responding. I think that was February 12th, and it was February 18th here, and I not responded. Checking on your interest. Thanks. If you ever text me, you'll realize this is not uncommon that I don't see texts. Going to put you down as a no, but please let me know if something changes. Sorry, been busy on the story. Last few shows have taken 18 to 20 hours per day to put together. You should watch them. Always advertising, ladies and gentlemen. Totally fine. If I misread you as disinterested, I'd love to talk. We have a couple more weeks before we need to lock down our travel schedule. But I get that you're on a different timeline, and I've watched a few of your episodes. That's why I'm reaching out to you. I can't keep up with all the content, though. It'd be a full-time job.
Kathy, it's scrolling right across the top above me. But it is the real one, pcast@gmail.com.
And this is what I get just blatantly blunt with her. If I'm being completely honest, I'm skeptical of your objectivity and operate on the assumption you're going to produce a story that is negative to me and others doing what I'm doing. Admittedly, that's based on a limited and cursory review of your work and bio. I'm like Nostradamus here. I'm like Nostradamus. I'm Edgar Casey. I'm looking into the future and I'm seeing what reality before it happens. I got a bad habit of being right. It happens a lot.
I agree, Wild Willie.
That doesn't stop her from assuring me I'm wrong, even though I turn out to be right. But that's Brandy Zadrozny for you. I do get that. I obviously write about conspiracy theories and often critically, but this is how I covered Candace. And she posts a Candace article. This is a media story to me, though, not an attempt to debunk. I'm interested in you and others like I was in Candace in 2018.
Yes, absolutely, Kathy. Email them. You can do that. And like I said, if you want to, you can also go in there and do a community post and put them up also. You can do both. That's totally up to you. But yes, absolutely. And thank you for dropping that in there, Heather. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I love my country, Australia, the lucky country. I've traveled a bit. I would love to come and visit America. Absolutely. We'd love to have you. I'd love to visit Australia, but I definitely have a bias, for obvious reasons. But yes, definitely, it's a great place to come visit, especially if you come to Middle Tennessee. It's awesome.
And I say 8 years ago, you might surprise me to the upside, but even calling something a conspiracy theory gives your thoughts on this. Guys, am I right or am I right? It's a bad habit. It's a bad habit, Zadrozny. I can see people like you from a mile away. I don't care what kind of niceties you say on text. I know who you are. I know the type of person you are. I didn't even see your glasses yet. I hadn't even seen your plastic framed aviators. And yet I knew. There's a reason people like Candace get more views daily than CNN primetime shows. I should have said MS Now. They don't trust reporters who refer to conspiracy theories. I didn't call this a conspiracy theory. Oh, I said I report on them. So I get why you might be wary. Oh, but you did call it a conspiracy theory. You called them all conspiracy theories. You used the word conspiracy 38 times in 47 minutes.
All right, guys. I think he made his point. We see that she was lying. We knew she was lying before hearing that, but I wanted him to be able to address the fact that she basically said he blew her off, which did not happen. So let me see. I seen a comment here. I wanted to, where did it go? I don't know where it went. Wild Willie, why? I think the question was why Baron Coleman was not interested in the truth that Charlie was, or in information about Charlie being alive. I can't speak for him, but look, I'll tell you, for me, myself, this is my problem. For one, I don't know. I feel like he's dead. I feel like, based on his evolving stances on certain things, that it's kind of dangerous to evolve on. That, among other things, he had to be taken out. Now, that being said, we see how everybody around him has acted. We see how all these people have acted. And if we assume that he is still alive and this is all a show, then it completely absolves everybody of everything that we think, is going on. And I'm not saying that could not be the case. Maybe that is the case. But I want it investigated as if, as I want them to all be suspects like they ordinarily would be in any other investigation. I can't myself just jump straight to, oh, he's still alive and all these people are acting perfectly normal. They're innocent. It's fine. It's good, and leave them alone. That's my main issue with that theory. Anything is possible. But again, we see the impropriety that's been going on at Turning Point. I don't think Charlie Kirk was aware of a lot of that, at least not especially till the end, hence as to why he wanted a Doge-style effort. But down the line, all these things that we're learning, it kind of absolves everybody of everything. If we say, oh, it's just all a show, it's all an act, he's still alive. I want everybody looked at. I want everybody treated like a suspect, like they ordinarily would be in any other case. So, let's see. Yep, hitting the hearts helps a lot too. That's exactly right. That's right, Jeannie. I've heard that. So, yep, do it, guys. One thing I want to say about the members, I thank you all for joining. What was I going to say? Oh, if you have gotten a gifted membership, that's awesome. Just please do me a favor and go in there and continue that on. I promise it'll be worth the $3-4 a month. But a lot of people, and obviously those random people get them. And a lot of times those people don't care anything about it. I get it. But yeah, we went from like 137 members to down around 100 now, because a lot of those memberships are, dropping off because they were gifted. And I would ask, if it any way possible, if you receive a gifted membership, just go in there and set it up to continue on. And, it really helps a lot. It adds up, even though it's only like $3 or $4. It really adds up at the end. So I really appreciate that. What I was wanting to say about merch, I have seen a couple in the chat at different times say they like that furry adjacent. So what I was and look, I want input from everybody, but I was thinking, what do y'all think about some type of shirts or something that say furry adjacent, and of course the Real One podcast on it, but like furry adjacent, and then maybe a picture of a puppy dog and a kitty cat or something like that, a pet. I don't know. I thought maybe something like that would be nice. I know everybody's in here is really big on pets. So that is the one. And then, of course, I was also considering doing the Rewind Gang or something like that. Please be kind and rewind. That was what I used to have that sticker on all the VHS tapes when you rented them from like Blockbuster Video. So for my guys that come in and rewatch after the fact. So anyway, those were the thoughts I wanted to run by y'all, see what y'all thought. Y'all can let me know here in the chat next time. Any of y'all that's got my information, you can send it. You can also jump in there and drop a post. Yeah, I'd like to hear about all that, because really soon I would like to start getting some merch. People keep asking, and so we want to get it happening. So anyway, guys, y'all please try to be back in the morning, 8 a.m. Central Time. I promise you will not want to miss that. Yeah, you really don't want to miss Muppet. I promise you that. He is he is something else. He's done a lot of deep digging, and I'm sure we'll hear lots that we haven't heard yet before. So anyway, guys, I've got to go sweat for a while. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for being here. And yep, I'm going to go sweat for a while. Yeah, hopefully I'll see each and every one of you right back here real soon. Thanks, guys. Much love.
When the facts get twisted and the lies stack tall, my red, white, and blue heart starts with answering the call. Question everything. Don't swallow